hate you. I'm gonna kill you. Oh, don't run away. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this. You need to learn your lesson. You shouldn't have come here. You're not leaving here alive.
All right, we are about to check out a love triangle gone wrong.
Just got killed. They literally shot him like times and he's laying down at the end of the stairs.
This was the harrowing 9/11 moments after Nitekka Lennear was brutally gunned down by her ex-girlfriend's new lover in a shocking act of violence. After their breakup, Nitekka and Ania Thomas had gone their separate ways, appearing to move on. But then a Facebook post.
So it was the ex-girlfriend's new lover. That's who we're talking about right now.
Went live on Facebook during the interaction, not knowing that she would be broadcasting her own murder. So,
guys, this social media is going to kill these relationships. Trust that.
This case. On the evening of September 2nd, 2020, just after 6 p.m., police in Cocoa, Florida, received frantic calls about a shooting at an apartment complex on North Fisk Boulevard. The first officer on the scene was met with a horrifying sight: a young woman lying on the ground, riddled with gunshot wounds. Her chest, back, neck, forearm, and side all bore the evidence of the brutal attack.
So you just threw away your life because of a post on Facebook or social media. That's crazy.
She was rushed to the hospital as doctors fought desperately to save her life. But it was too late. She was pronounced dead shortly after. The investigation began immediately as detectives worked to unravel the mystery of what had happened.
So she lost her life for a post on social media.
Revelation that she had live-streamed her own murder. While little is known about Nitekka's life, those close to her described her as a kind and humble woman who could get along with anyone. She was especially close to her family, including her brother O.J. Ross, a standout high school football star who went on to play for Tennessee Tech and Long Island University.
She was a funny human being, a good person to be around. She cared, she loved.
Wasn't nothing he wouldn't do for her and nothing she wouldn't do for him.
So now the family is all torn up about what happened with this love triangle in this social media.
18-year-old Ania Thomas. While details are sparse, their relationship seemed dangerously toxic, marred by reports of domestic violence. Ania was also battling deep mental health struggles after giving birth. A chilling incident from May 28, 2019, gives a glimpse into her troubled state. According to a report by T.C. Palm, Indian River County deputies were alerted to a disturbing post on Ania's Facebook, where she reported...
There we go. Back on social media again, posting crazy stuff.
To a Walmart parking lot in Vero Beach. Inside her car, officers found Ania in the driver's seat holding her baby.
It's a pretty baby.
Face down on her chest. The arrest report described a horrifying scene. Ania then wrapped her right arm around the back of the infant's head and her left arm around the infant's torso.
Oh my goodness, he's trying to kill... Is she trying to kill the baby?
In a hugging position, Ania began squeezing, appearing to suffocate the child.
Oh my God, this is horrible.
When verbal commands failed, a deputy shattered the driver's side window and rescued the baby. Ania was arrested, charged with felony child abuse and resisting arrest without violence. Thankfully, the infant was unharmed and placed in the care of relatives.
Ooh, that's good. I'm glad the baby is okay.
But it paints a dark picture of Ania's mental state. Their tumultuous relationship lasted about a year before ending in July 2020 after another domestic violence incident. Afterward, it seemed both women were trying to move on. Each started dating new people, but the situation...
They say after you have a baby, guys, your hormones just go crazy. So I'm hoping that was the case. I'm hoping she wasn't intentionally trying to hurt that baby.
The situation took an unsettling turn when Ania began dating 19-year-old Lennear Bird, who, in a twisted coincidence, was cousins with Nitekka's new girlfriend.
Whoa. Okay, so they trying to keep that in the family, I guess.
2020, Nitekka and her girlfriend went to confront Ania about some Facebook posts and a status update. But
here you go with that social media stuff. Here you go with the bull crap.
Police, Nitekka went live on Facebook as she and her girlfriend drove to Ania's apartment. While the 8-minute video hasn't been made public, police revealed chilling details about what it captured.
So an 8-minute video caused you to lose your life that was posted on Facebook.
Abruptly with the sound of gunshots and Nitekka collapsing to the ground before the screen went black. Nitekka's girlfriend later told police that when they arrived at the apartment, things quickly escalated. She admitted to hitting Ania during the altercation at the top of the stairs. Nitekka, meanwhile, had moved to the bottom of the stairs, seemingly to leave. But that's when Ania screamed at her girlfriend, Lennear Bird, yelling, "Shoot her, bae! Shoot her!" Without hesitation.
That's a whole lot of drama. You want somebody to shoot somebody else over a Facebook post.
As Nitekka lay on the ground, Ania and Lennear fled the scene.
At the Candlewood Apartments Tuesday night, police said...
So now they on the run. All this drama for a Facebook post.
The victim and her girlfriend came here to confront Bird and Thomas about their issues with one another. Police say the couples were fighting about things posted on Facebook, and when the victim and her girlfriend showed up, they live-streamed the fight and the gunfire.
The shocking murder triggered an immediate...
They live-streamed the gunfire. Are you serious?
...manhunt, with police offering a $5,000 reward for any information leading to their capture. And it wasn't long before both women were arrested and charged with second-degree murder.
Girlfriends in jail, possibly for the rest of their lives.
Someone just got killed.
Girlfriends in jail. And for what? A Facebook post. Really?
27-year-old Nitekka Lennear. Police say Bird's girlfriend, 21-year-old Ania Thomas, told her to shoot the victim, who happens to be Thomas's ex-girlfriend. "Shoot her, bae. Shoot her." Thomas orders Bird, according to the report.
During questioning, Ania initially denied knowing what had happened, claiming she was busy fighting Nitekka's girlfriend. But when confronted with the damning video evidence, she admitted it was her voice urging Lennear to pull the trigger. Both women pleaded.
This is crazy. So now they're probably going to have to go to prison for life for all of this drama over a Facebook post.
Of a second-degree murder with discharge of a firearm, felony punishable by life, and I'm going to hold you no bond. Don't call her from the jail.
While Bird and Thomas might be in jail at the...
Life in prison for a Facebook post. Was it really worth it?
same time, the girlfriends are not allowed to be together.
While you're in custody together, you are not to have contact and discuss this case through letters, knocking on the pipes, or anything. You're not to discuss this case and not to have contact with each other.
Meanwhile, Nitekka's tragic death left her family and friends shocked and heartbroken. Her brother later described the moment he received the devastating news.
I was having a good day. Had good practice. After practice, one of my teammates, Cedric Hawkins, he had called me. And he said my sister had got shot. At first I was in shock. I ain't really believe it until he told me the exact place that she got shot at.
Devastating. So now her family is devastated because the fact that she got murdered, especially she got murdered over something so minuscule.
The family rushed to the hospital where their fears were confirmed.
We all was at the hospital. We just sitting there hoping she was fine, And my mom went in. She came out, and I just seen it. I just seen it on her face. I just knew something was up.
It's horrible. It really is. It's really horrible.
To where I had to just grab him and say some things to him and make sure he got it through his head.
For OJ, losing his sister wasn't just painful. It became a source of motivation.
It's motivating me. I'm going harder because I know this is what she wants. She want me to go harder. She always talk about football. She want me to be the best, so I'm gonna go harder.
Good for him. Good for him. He's taking something negative and turning it into something positive.
As of January 2025, the case has seen no major updates. Ania and Lennear remain in jail, awaiting their fates. But as tragic as this case is, it is sadly not unique. This next woman did the unthinkable when her secret girlfriend left her for a man.
Another case. Oh my goodness, this is going to be some more social media on this one.
Palmdale, California. She was hardworking and ambitious and had dreams of opening her own care facility for the elderly. She'd even started making those dreams a reality by buying a 6-bedroom house, which she planned to turn into a care center. But tragically, her life would be brutally cut short before she got a chance to see it through.
All right, let's see what happens. Looked like she was very successful young lady. Let's see what happens.
2010, Linnell's relationship with her boyfriend, Louis Bonheur, was falling apart. They'd been together for years, but things had taken a toxic turn. Linnell had shared with a friend that Louis's jealousy and controlling behavior were getting worse. He was constantly keeping tabs on her, tracking her movements, following her to work, and even checking her phone calls.
Yep, it's time to go. Anytime they start doing that, it's time to go.
Argument, but they didn't break up. Instead, they decided to try and fix their relationship. Despite that, Louis continued keeping a close eye on her phone. Then, on the evening of June 16th, 2010, everything took a tragic turn.
Okay, let's see what's about to jump off.
Around 7 p.m., Laureen Austin, one of Linnell's friends, walked into the Palmdale police station with devastating news. She had found Linnell dead in her garage.
And then I turned around. It was like plastic bags, and I slid on the bags. I'm looking at the blood, and then when I looked, I saw her legs.
Okay, so her friend found her. Her friend came into the house and found her.
And then when I walked around the car, she had a bag over her head, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God.
She had a bag over her head. All right. This is getting crazy.
Officers arrived at the house on Rocky Lane. They discovered Linnell lying on her back next to the passenger side of her BMW. A plastic bag covered her head, and stained towels, plastic sheeting, and bedding surrounded her. The trunk of the BMW was open, revealing soiled bedding and a pillow with a bullet hole.
So it looks like somebody might have killed her and was trying to transport her somewhere else. Let's see what happens.
That started in the living room, wound through the kitchen, and ended in the garage. It was clear someone had dragged Linnell's body across the floor, trying to stage the scene. Back in the living room, they found a few red spatters on the wall and a single bullet casing on the couch. The carpet was unusually clean, so clean it seemed freshly scrubbed.
So somebody is trying to clean up the scene, okay? To keep people from thinking that it was them that killed this young lady.
And something else stood out. A large area rug was missing. That missing rug turned up shoved into the back seat of Linnell's car. It was soaked in red and bore a distinct shoe print. Piece by piece, investigators started putting the story together. They figured out that Linnell was attacked while sitting in the living room. She'd been shot in the back of the head, likely never even seeing it coming. But something about the scene didn't make sense.
Now, who could have did that? Who could have done that to this young lady?
Her body, but stopped halfway through. Why would the killer abandon their plan? Could Laureen, Linnell's friend, have shown up and interrupted them? As investigators worked through these questions, Laureen's version of events made things even more confusing.
Uh-oh. I didn't think it was the friend. I thought the friend just found her. All right, let's go see how this ends.
She told police she'd been at Linnell's house earlier that day, helping her with her hair in the living room. Everything seemed normal until Linnell's boyfriend, Louis Bonheur, suddenly showed up. Lauren said Louis was furious about a recent fight they'd had after finding out Linnell had a secret phone. The fight got so heated that Lauren decided to leave, thinking it was better to give them space to calm down. But...
oh, so the girlfriend got out of there. Okay, she saw it was getting heated and she decided to leave, and that might have been the best thing.
Later that evening when she came back, she found Linnell's body in the garage. Panicking, Lauren said she tried to call 911, but then she heard a noise coming from inside the house.
Yeah, time to go. Okay, you hear a noise inside of the house after finding your girlfriend in the garage, yeah, it's time to go.
She claimed that's when she saw Louis, and in total fear, she ran straight to the police station to report the crime.
And then I heard somebody walking upstairs. And he was like coming down the stairs, and I looked and I just ran out the door.
Do you know the guy's name?
Yeah, his name is Louis.
Laureen's story seemed believable, and for a while, everyone was convinced that Linnell's boyfriend, Louis, was the one behind it all. He already had a reputation for being jealous and controlling, so it wasn't a stretch to think he could have done something like this.
All right, so if it's not Louis and it's not her friend, then who could it be?
Louis had reportedly chased Linnell in his car, trying to run her off the road.
She called me on the phone. She said, Louis tried to run me off the road, Mama. And she was screaming.
This, along with Laureen's claims, kept Louis as the main suspect.
So I guess the mother, she told her mother that the boyfriend was chasing her down in a car at one point. Very abusive relationship.
Investigators didn't waste time tracking him down, eventually finding him at Bobby's house in Hawthorne. When they brought him in for questioning, Louis's reaction was odd. He seemed calm, almost confused about why he was even a suspect. But the more he talked, the more suspicious things started to sound. Louis insisted everything between him and Linnell was perfect. He said they were happy and in love, which didn't match the reports of constant fighting and his control.
So he's trying to throw everybody off of his path, making everybody think that their relationship was good.
Go fix my car. Tell me about your relationship, right? Yeah. Your relationship is good? Honest with you. Okay with her. Is she okay with you? She's okay with me. She's been telling me she's loving me all the time.
Then detectives noticed a scratch on his face. When they asked about it, Louis admitted Linnell had scratched him during an argument.
All right, the plot is about to thicken. So he has a scratch on his face. Let's see how this turns out.
Even so, he swore up and down that he had nothing to do with her death.
You got a scratch on your face. Where did you get that?
This one?
Yeah, the one right across your cheek. Who scratched you?
Oh, that was Linda across me.
At first, Louis seemed like the obvious suspect. The investigators even thought they had a motive. A letter found at the scene, supposedly written by Linnell, claimed she was leaving Louis for another man. On the surface, it felt like an open and shut case. But when they started digging into Louis's alibi, things took a surprising turn.
Uh-oh. It seems like that might be somebody else of interest. Let's see how this turns out.
Away from Palmdale. Naturally, the detectives weren't about to just take his word for it. They checked out his story, and to their surprise, everything checked out perfectly. He had receipts for car parts he bought that afternoon, and the timestamps matched the timeline. To double-check, investigators pulled security footage from the stores, and there Louis was, calmly going about his business.
So it looks like he has an alibi. So let's see what happens.
On top of that, his cell phone records backed him up too. The data showed his phone pinging along the highway to and from Los Angeles, nowhere near Palmdale when Linnell was killed. There was also no evidence tying him to anyone else who would have carried out the crime for him. With all the solid proof clearing Louis, detectives officially ruled him out as a...
Okay, they ruled him out as a suspect, so it's not him. Okay, and she wrote a letter about another man. Is it that other man, or are we going back to her friend? Because remember, they were suspecting her friend at first. All right, let's check it out.
Suspect. They didn't stop there, though. Investigators also looked into other potential suspects, including Eek, who had briefly dated Linnell. But just like Louis, his alibi checked out, leaving the detectives back at square one. That's when they started taking a closer look at Lorene Austin and her...
Okay, we back at home, girl. Okay. We are back at home, girl. Y'all think she did it? I don't know.
Her story didn't seem to hold up. For one, Lorene claimed to be a close high school friend of Linnell, but Bobby, Linnell's mom, didn't recognize her at all. In fact, Bobby later said she felt uneasy when Lorene tried to hug her at the police station. Something about her just felt off.
Mama always knows, right? Mama will always know. You can't hide nothing from mama.
The detective and this person walked out of the hallway. And the first thing I asked her, I said, "How do you know Lennear?" And she said, "Oh, we went to Crenshaw together." I said, "Crenshaw?" I said, "I don't know you." And she hugged me and she said, "You have my condolences." I told the detective, I said, "I don't know her."
Then, there was the issue with the bullets. During Lorraine's initial interview, officers checked her purse as part of protocol and found 2 bullets inside. When asked about it, Lorraine gave a strange explanation. She claimed she'd picked them up near the crime scene and...
Okay, why are you picking up bullets? You said you were afraid for your life. You were in the garage. You heard a noise come from inside of the house, and you had time to pick up some bullets. That don't make no sense, lady.
had just forgotten to mention it.
I told you that there were 2 bullets in your purse.
2?
2.
I don't know how there's 2.
Detectives couldn't ignore how odd this all was, and the more they looked into Lorraine's account, the more suspicious things got. Her timeline didn't make sense. She said she saw Lewis at the house before and after the murder, but with Lewis's airtight alibi, there was no way he could have been there at either time. Piece by piece, Lauren's story started to crumble, but suspicions alone weren't enough. They needed hard evidence to connect her to the crime.
I did not see this one coming. I thought it was going to be the boyfriend. All right, let's see what happens.
DNA testing revealed that the latex gloves discarded in the garage belonged to Lorraine. The bloody shoe print on the rug was a perfect match for her shoes. And the fingerprint found on the kitchen pitcher, that was hers too. But the biggest revelation came from the handwritten letter found at the scene, the one supposedly written by Linnell to Louis. Handwriting experts determined it wasn't written by Linnell at all. Lauren had forged it in an attempt to frame Louis for the murder. Now,
wow. So she went all in for the boyfriend. Okay, she's trying to make the detectives think that it wasn't her.
the pieces were falling into place. All the evidence pointed straight to Lorraine, and as detectives dug deeper, a chilling story of jealousy and obsession started to emerge.
Did you kill your friend?
I did not kill my friend. I had no reason to kill my friend. I love my friend.
Detectives decided to dig into Lorraine's life, and at first glance, she seemed like just an ordinary hairdresser trying to make ends meet, but it didn't take long for them to uncover the truth.
So we're talking about jealousy now. So she was jealous of her friend. All right, let's see how this unravels.
Lorraine was drowning in debt, living rent-free at her mom's house, and barely scraping by with occasional hairdressing gigs she advertised on Craigslist.
So she was jealous of her friend because she was barely scraping by, and the victim had a 5-6 bedroom home, and she was killing the game. So her friend was jealous.
It was through one of those Craigslist ads that she met Linnell just weeks before her death. Their connection started as a friendship, but quickly turned romantic.
Social media again, okay? Social media strikes again. You have to meet a female friend online. You can't meet one at the grocery store or church or whatever the case may be. This is crazy.
But the problem was, while Lorraine was falling hard for Linnell, the feelings weren't mutual.
Oh, now we are talking about a lesbian relationship. I thought we were just talking about a friendship.
Linnell liked her company, but wasn't interested in anything serious. In fact, just days before her murder, Linnell texted Lorraine to let her know she wanted to work things out with her boyfriend, Lewis. She even suggested they stay friends and asked if Lorraine would still help her with her hair. Detectives believed...
So the victim was not interested in her friend on the lesbian tip. She was not interested in her whatsoever.
Lorraine pulled a gun from her handbag, and using a pillowcase as a makeshift silencer, she shot Linnell from behind while she was sitting, completely unaware of what was about to happen. It seemed like Lorraine's initial plan was to clean up the crime and hide Linnell's body. The desert landscape around Palmdale offered plenty of remote spots for this, but after dragging Linnell's body and some items to the garage, it's likely Lorraine realized she didn't have the strength to lift her into the car.
Yeah, it was just too much for her. Killing the girl, rolling her up in the carpet, and then try to put her in the car, guys. It was just too much.
That's when her plan shifted and she decided to frame Louis instead. And for a while, it almost worked. By the time investigators got the evidence they needed and were ready to make an arrest, Lorraine had already fled to Belize, in Central American country. Her whereabouts were a mystery until she was featured on America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted. They don't play. So when you get on that show, it's just a matter of time before they catch you.
Thanks to tips from viewers, detectives tracked her down.
What'd I tell you? They caught her, okay?
And arrested her. She was extradited back to the U.S., where she pleaded not guilty to the charges. However, the jury convicted of first-degree murder, and in 2015, she was sentenced to life in prison, with no chance of parole for at least 50 years.
50 years.
They hate you. I'm gonna kill you. Oh, don't run away. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this. You need to learn your lesson. You shouldn't have come here. You're not leaving here alive.